What is up, guys? It is TK Weber, and we're going to be doing another tutoring, but this one's going to be a little different this time, because I signed up for this site online where people can add me on League and reserve a spot, and then I'll coach them. So I'm going to be coaching this person, Tyr, I think that's how you say it.
Minions have spawned.
And so it's just a little different thing, but any of you who watch my tutorings regularly, you'll still be able to get the same thing out of it. See, I wanted to tutor mid, which I really did want to do, because mid is a different lane than all the others, but unfortunately Dick Lysandra decided that couldn't have mid, and so he's going to be top. But he's versus an Ahri, so that's not that bad. But I can't move my mouse against the screen. I think it's because of this stupid red fraps line, which I can't get rid of. I'm sorry. Whatever. Let me just, as during every game, I like making it as if I was playing as Lux. We can just actually follow Lux. It would be if I hit 3. Yeah, this would be nice. I'm gonna play as if I was the Lux. Or I'm going to talk about this as if I was playing the Lux in his situation. So right off the bat, you want to use a potion, because against a champion who can do a lot of damage fast like Ahri, you always want to stay relatively near full health. You should have gotten those 2 minions. That's just knowing your damages, which you get better at over time. Like that minion you could have gotten. So he's trying to get, when you're getting pushed like this, in this situation, you like the wave being relatively near your tower, so you're safe, and the enemy mid or top in this case is at risk. So you generally want to do that if you're in both lanes, but because you don't want the wave to actually be at your tower, because then the tower is hitting the minions and making it harder for you to CS, you want to keep it like right here is probably, I would say, the optimal place. It's out of range of your tower won't be messing up minions, but it's close enough to your tower that it's going to be hard for him to get. So here, he's got to flash away. He did it a tiny bit too late. I don't even think he's going to get this. Yeah. So, something that you got to do as any laner is you want to flash. There was actually a video on this I saw, but I've been saying it for a while. You don't want to, if you're going to die, how do I put this perfectly? You want to flash early, because obviously the best scenario that could possibly play out in that situation that we just had was that Lux didn't have to burn flash and that he lived. But because it's not always an option, you want to burn your flash early, because if you think you're gonna die and you're not positive and you think you might be able to live without burning flash, just use flash, because it's much better to use your flash and end up living than it is to not use your flash and end up dying. But the absolute worst case scenario that you can do is to not use your flash and still die, which would end up happening there. I mean, is to use your flash and still die, which would end up happening. Now granted, he should have shielded there earlier, because on Lux Lux's shield takes a long time to get the full effect out of it. So you want to use your shield earlier in fights. Now here you just gotta Q her and then run all the way around here so you can hopefully get back to lane. See, right now he's getting destroyed by this Ahri, but because of that early game fiasco where he got killed, he did end up burning her flash and ignite as well, so she has no summoners, but now he's pretty weak. Now this is good, but he shouldn't be fighting yet. He started moving up. As soon as he hit that binding, she's beating him by a lot in this lane. So she obviously doesn't want to fight, and she just wants to run. So as soon as you hit the Q binding, you just want to start walking away, because you can't fight the Ahri. You're just going to take a lot of damage, like right there. She took a lot of damage. Now she just got it back. This lane is hard, but he absolutely needs, if they don't want to like lose this entire game, to get a gank before Ahri hits level 6. Because right now Ahri has no flash, which is something you always want to be paying attention to, enemy summoner spells. She has no flash or ignite, and she's not level 6, so she has no escape. But as soon as she hits 6, she has 3 dashes, and it's going to be super hard to kill her. So the only real way to kill this Ahri right now is to gank her right now. But because Lux had to back, because she got low, it's going to be difficult. So now this spider probably could take her out, or she could laugh. I mean, they're both good options. Okay, good job. Oh, you got it. Oh no, you got it. Good. So yeah, now Ari's gonna be very close to 6. So this is gonna be a really hard one because Lux is really behind right now. Tyr is behind because he can't. After she got the big advantage, now something he has to work on is CS. And now I can't teach you how to CS, but you can teach yourself. All right, see, she's 6. Yeah, she's 6. They can blow her ultimate. Oh, the hit! Q. No, he had Q. What you have to do, something that's really important just in League in general, is chaining CC together. Because chaining CC is difficult to do, but if you can master it, it's insane. Let's say someone gets stared by an Elise, or stunned by an Elise cocoon. You want your CC, your Lux binding, to start before the cocoon ends, because you don't want Ari to have even the slightest millisecond to ult away. Because Ari, as she's cocooned, is just spamming R and trying to live as much as possible, trying to R away. And the way, wrong way. The only way to prevent that is to make sure your snare is on top of Ari before the cocoon ends. So the ideal way to do this is to wait right for the cocoon to end, well, right before the cocoon's going to end, and then you want to... No, don't hit that minion. Okay, yeah. He has to use CS for minions a lot, which isn't good. I'll talk about that later. But right now, I'll focus on what I was saying. Yeah, so chaining CC is important. Just try and put your CC the instant their CC ends. And that's about the extent that I can say. It's just practice of learning timers on cocoon and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure cocoon's 2 seconds stun. I'm not positive. 1.5. Yeah, I was gonna say 1.5. My bad. That's just practice. As you keep playing, you'll get better at knowing when CC is about to end, how long your Q is gonna take to travel. Cinder got Medjai's first back. That's cocky and bad. I don't like Medjai's. So yeah, alright. That's all I can cover in terms of, what was it say? That's the main thing I can cover in terms of, what was I saying? Oh, chaining CC. So yeah, they could have gotten that kill. You want to Q while she's cocooned. Don't try and do it after, because you know she's just going to ult away with that minion. Alright, something this guy seems to have a problem with, which is the most important skill in the mid lane. Yeah, you should have done that. Is CSing, or killing minions, that is, the blast hitting, which is really, really important, because a lot of mid lanes will end up being relatively passive. Now, okay, wait, I gotta interrupt what I'm saying. Ari's so you have to take advantage of that. Right now, Ari is... The mid lane is all about generating an advantage over the opponent. If you two are equal in lane, then that's... Alright, right now, Lux is behind. So if they're coming out equal in lane, that's fine for him. Because she's beating him, and coming out equal means that they're getting the same amount of gold every minute, or roughly every minute. And that's fine, because she has an advantage over him. So when you have an advantage, if you were this Ari, you want to pressure that advantage and make sure you get a bigger advantage because of it. You always want to be getting more gold than your opponent during the laning phase, more gold per minute. If you're losing lane and you're getting the same amount of gold, that's not that bad. Because right now, the only gold they're getting is from CSing both ways. Now, he's got to shield early. You got to be able to shield while, like, Ari's stuff is in the air coming towards you. Now he's pushing out the wave. Oh, there's so many There's so many things I have to talk about that I just need to pause, because I've been on like 3 different tangents. First of all, let me finish the CSing thing. Right now, this lane is very little interaction between the champions and much more interaction between the minions. And now what I mean by that is it's mostly just a farming lane, as in they each farm the other person's wave and try and get as much gold as possible. In this lane matchup, it's really, really important that you're not missing minions. Because right now, Ari's not doing anything to pressure him out of lane or poke him or anything like that. So you have to make sure 6 out of 6 minions, or at the very least 9 out of 10 minions you're getting. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind, even though they're not actually doing anything to pressure you. If Ari gets all 6 of her minions and he gets 5 every single wave, after a while, Ahri will build up an advantage, even though Ahri wasn't pressuring him in lane at all. It's just that he was lacking the CSing ability. So you really have to practice your CSing. And now, how I would recommend doing this is go into a custom game, pick any champion you want, generally a champion that you need practice CSing with, go into the mid lane or top, it doesn't matter, and you don't use any abilities and don't get any attack damage. Just like play like you would in a normal game, but don't use any abilities, which I can't stress enough. And try to CS as much as possible. Try and get 100 by 10 minutes. Now that may be hard, but that means that you need to practice on your CSing, because at the very least, I would expect 80 CS by 10 minutes. Because there's no opponent champion. Don't put in champions. Just you and the minions. So definitely I would recommend doing that, because you really need that practice CSing. And you really have to get good CSing before you want to be a mid laner, because that's really important. So yeah, just make sure you do that. And that's all I can really say for CSing in terms of how to get better at it. Just don't use abilities and see what you can do. And right now here, Ahri is and he's not. So, wait. He does want to push this wave out, because in Ahri, it's going to be hard for her to get these minions on her tower. Unless she has enough mana for a Q, which she's probably going to use. But if she doesn't use the Q, well, she did. She missed 2 of those 3 minions. And he, because he pushed out the wave early, he shouldn't try and do anything here. You want to lead with Q before you walk out of the bush. Because if he had led with Q, he could have easily gotten that kill. But because he walked out of the bush then Q'd, he couldn't get it. You always want to lead your combo with Q with ults. Because if he had Q ulted, he probably could have gotten that. Well, actually, she might still die. No, she didn't die. He did die. So, you want to, in general, pressure your lane. Just the general rule of thumb for when you want to pressure your lane is when the enemy can't do anything about it. Oh, oops, caps off. So, for an example, let's say the enemy's a great example of this is Morgana. It's hard for Morgana to CS with her auto attacks. Like, she needs her W to CS. So, oh, sorry, that's my one. So, you want to push out champions that are and can't CS under tower well as soon as possible. But there are definitely exceptions to this. Ugh. I gotta make a video. Like, that's unrelated. Jeez. Oh, so many different tangents. So here is when he wants to leave. Oh wait, he's baiting. That's a good bait. Elise! 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 What was that? He flashed in an interesting direction. They're gonna get this game. He did that. Yeah, that, he played it well, but Elise failed really miserably. She could have definitely chained her cocoon into his silence, into his snare that is, and they could have gotten that kill. I'm not gonna blame that on him. I'm gonna blame that on Elise. But anyway, as I was saying, you want to pressure when the enemy is either gonna miss CS onto tower. Okay, wait. This is just a subsection of general mid laning, which I will make a video on sometime. If you're losing lane, your strategy is probably the same every time. It's just, in general, try not to die and try and get as much CS as possible without dying. That's your just policy when you're losing mid. Now he's going to start roaming because top is pushing really hard and he doesn't get anything by going up there. So he should start roaming mid, which I think he is. So anyway, that's your policy if you're losing. If you're winning, you can do 3 things. Now, they each have their ups and downs. The 3 things you can do are deny the opponent, push roam, or generate a larger advantage. And so, the first one that we'll talk about is denying the opponent, because nothing's really happening right now. I don't love alting waves before you get CDR. Oh, he has some CDR, so that's fine. And since that's actually pretty intelligent, he knows that Riven just went back, so I don't know if he knew this, but towers are always good because it's global gold, and I'm pausing so I can talk about it. So he ulted that wave because you can clear it faster, obviously, when you ult it, and then when you ult it, there are no minions to stop your minions from attacking the tower, so it's easier to get the tower. And because he knows Riven just went back, he knows that there's no one to stop him from getting this tower, because even if Warwick comes, Warwick's not that great at stopping pushes, because he's only got single target abilities, no AoE wave clear. So it's very easy to push this tower down because he altered that wave, and Riven's nowhere near Ahri's top, their bot lane's bot, I'm assuming. So, yeah. That was good. And as I was talking earlier, sorry, I gotta talk about everything as it comes up, so there's generally like one thought that's going on, but it takes me a long time to say, because other things come up. You should go steal that. I don't think there's really a point to keep pushing, because Riven's gonna be back soon. She can stop the wave clear, and she can go through easy. So, also his team's fine. So yeah, that's when you want I want to watch this. They can win this 4v3, I would say. Riven's low on health, is relatively damaged, so he's huge. That was a bad E. You never want E. What am I saying? Now, he wanted to walk out there. He probably got a QEW.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
He probably could have gotten a QEW off and QER off and killed someone. Alright, jeez, denying. I am so everywhere today. He's got to go. He wants to get home guard. He should be backing right now because they're losing a second tier tower for Dragon. Which, while it's good, it isn't necessarily worth it because he doesn't have to be there to do the job. So he should recall, get home guard, and then try and stop this push on top. Because his team is going to do that whether or not he was there. As you can see, he got no assist. He didn't do anything. So you want to, if you don't actually see, like, this tower got so much damage. You don't want to be somewhere if you don't need to be there. He didn't need to be there, so he could be somewhere else on the map, getting CS independently of his team, and also stopping a push. So he should have gone top there. Okay, denying. Jeez. The way you deny in lane, when you this is when you have an advantage. These three methods.
Purple team's turret has been destroyed.
You get an advantage by either outplaying them one-on-one or getting jungler gank or having more CS or being a better champion during lane phase or whatever. Okay. Alright, now she at least made a mistake because they're not gonna get on it. But they could have. They knew they had that warded, and Ahri didn't know it was warded, so they knew Ahri was there, and they could have just waited. What they should have done was wait for Lux to get there, so they could chain the cocoon and the Q together. So that's 3.5 seconds of CC instead of just 1.5, and the longer the CC, the more damage you can get on Ahri during that time. So they probably could have killed Ahri if they just waited for her, because they could have full to zero her in 3.5 seconds. Now as I was saying about denying, the way you want to deny, you need to get wards. Denying, there's the least gold gotten in total out of the lane. So, if you're going, Lux is top, so this doesn't matter. I'm going to look at the mid lane here, because this is what we're supposed to be talking about.
Rampage.
If you're denying, then this is the middle of the lane, right where I'm pinging. Stupid purple ping's distracting me. What you want to do when you're winning lane is you want to keep it here, but you want to stand there. So it's really hard, and you don't want to push. You don't want to push. I can't emphasize that enough. So if you do that, the enemy won't be able to get gold because they have to get past you, who's here, to get to the minions down here. And you'll still be getting the minions because you're still in range of them, but the enemy will be missing minions. So that's the most important part. The enemy is missing minions, and you're not, so you're generating advantage. The times you want to do this,
shut down.
You generally want to put the E in front of you and then wait to detonate to the last moment so you get the full slow effect. He didn't do that. He's dead. Save shield. He wants to put down his E here. Oh, he doesn't have a map. He wants a shield. He needs a shield. Oh, he's got a map. He's got a shield. He's got a shield. He needs a shield. Whatever. He should have shield there, wait for his Q to be up, and then he maybe can take. But as I was saying, you want to stay here, deny the enemy minions, but to do this method you need wards because you're right here. You're obviously very extended and you have to be ready for a jungler gank, so you have to get a decent amount of wards if you want to do this method. And the thing about this method is you're spending money on wards and you're not getting kills from roaming and you're not getting the gold from wraith camps, which I'll get into later. So you are generating advantage because they're missing a lot of minions and experience, but it's not a huge advantage because you also have to spend money on wards, and they're not going to because they're super pushed. So the only times you really want to do this are when you're playing against teams that you need to shut down, as in Kassadin. Because Kassadin has a weak range phase, but he has a potential to snowball super hard, and just he scales well into the late game. So that's why you want to use the deny method against Kassadin, because this way he's not getting a lot of golden experience, and he's not going to get big in the late game. Next method we can talk about is roaming. You do this with any type of assassin champion because it lets you... Alright, the way roaming works is you push the wave instantly. You want to just push it as fast as possible. And then while the enemy mid laner is busy CSing under tower because you push the wave so fast, you're busy going bot or top and trying to pick up a kill. And so that's how roaming works. It's the simplest of the three. And the one that everyone knows how to, it's the one that most people know how to do correctly. You just, oh, that was a good ult, but they got the kill too fast. Oh, he wants a shield. He wants a shield here. He missed a shield. It's hard to shield right now. It's like that. He should be helping his Syndra. He shouldn't be. She's dead. Yeah, he didn't really benefit by going down there. Like, he didn't have to. He should have gone and helped the Syndra, because they probably could have done something. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so the roam method is simple. Just push out your wave ASAP and then go look bot or top and then roam. I would recommend this on champions like Kassadin, but not as much on champions like Lux, because she doesn't have as good roam. The best method for, like, these three methods, they vary based on who you're playing and who you're against. Like, champions like Kassadin like the roaming method, but when you're against champions like Kassadin, you like the denying method. Because when you do the denying method, it's very hard for them to push the wave, which makes it very hard for them to roam. And if they try and roam without pushing the wave, then you just take their tower and you get global gold for your entire team. And then once you take the tower, you can push the wave into like here. And because you can't get those minions anyway without it being dangerous, you can go counter roam the Kassadin ganks. So, yeah, the varying methods just vary based on who you're playing against / with. And then the third method is the one which will probably generate the most gold for the mid laner and is the best for a champion when you're playing like Lux, is the poaching method. And this method also involves pushing out the wave, so just instantly push out the wave ASAP. And then after you push the wave, go take wraiths. By the time you're done taking wraiths, the next wave will probably be fighting. Push out that wave ASAP. Go do wolves. Push out wraiths, push out wolves, push out. And so the reason this method is good, I don't even care what I'm saying right now is it is the mid lane. It's the most important thing I can possibly say. So this doesn't really matter. If you're playing it fine. You should have shielded up, you could have shielded it. It doesn't really matter, slight mistake. He shielded Syndra though when he went down, so it's okay. Did you use last year and miss? Oh my god. She have ult. She's gonna get this. That mid was so bad. No, he's gotta try and, yeah, you can't hit it. It's a grave with Cryptron, you can't hit him. You should just give up. Because you can't kill that guy with this dodge. Third method, poaching. So, the reason this method is going to be generating you the most gold, in terms of how much gold you're generating, it goes poaching, roaming, denying. But in terms of how much gold the enemy is generating, in general, they would generate the most if you're roaming. It would go roaming, pushing, roaming, poaching, and then it would go into denying. Because denying, the point is that they don't get gold, so obviously that's going to be the one where they generate the least. And the reason roaming gets them the most is because, yeah, you push out the wave, and they have to deal with the wave under tower. But they're probably not going to be missing that much, and the real point of roaming is to help your allies, not as much you. So that's why roaming is the least on the gold generated for you, and the most on the gold generated for the enemy player. Oh no, wait, roaming is second on the gold generated for you. Denying is the one that's least for you, because you have to spend money on wards, and you don't really have to spend money on wards pretty much. So he's going to take his own blue, because he's room. I think you gotta be with your team generally more, but this is a fine choice to take blue. They both work. But it's going to be kind of hard for him to take this blue. He should take this back, because I'm sure he's got a lot of gold. Yeah, he's got 1,600. Take this back, and then either get Sorcerer or Needs to draw. Up to him, whether he wants the mobility or the extra damage. I would probably go for Needs to draw, just so you can rush the zone and not die to Ribbon. This is a... okay, come on. And so, those 3 methods are for when you're winning lane, and the way the poaching works is, yeah, you push really fast, but they're gonna probably get all the minions under their tower if they're good at CSing, and so then you each get the 6 minions, but you get the jump, which is your advantage over them. Every type of laning with the advantage, you have to be generating a bigger advantage. This lag happens sometimes. Okay, it's gone. Because it doesn't matter if you're winning lanes. It doesn't matter if you're 3-0, have 20 CS on them, and they have like 12 deaths or whatever. If you're not generating an advantage over them, you're not actually winning lane. Because winning lane is not determined by how well you're doing in the lane. It's determined by your GPM at each individual moment. So if your GPM is equal to them, you're equal in lane. You're not winning, no matter how much more gold you have than them to start with. You may have won the lane, but right now you're not winning it. He did that he could have killed it. See, he's gotta be ready to ult. Can he ult? He can ult. He definitely could have killed it. But you want, against a champion like Riven especially, you want to ult while they're snared, because not only can they dodge it with all their abilities, but Riven can't use her shield if she's snared because it requires her to move, so it makes her a lot squishier if you ult while she's still snared. Bro. Oh god. So much man. Oh yeah, on Lux I first ignite flash, which is what he has as summoner. Some people like Barry, but I really don't like it.
Killing spree.
Whoa, what happened? Did he flash into their base? He was not paying attention. He didn't even get the assist. Come on, man. Flashing into their base, don't be a turtle. It's not good. Alright, so he's gonna try and keep up. Alright, yeah, because that was just, he stayed too long. After he, like, walked out of the base, he should have gone with the least and then tried to back. That was just way too risky. He pushed up too far without. You always want to be looking at the field, and you want to think to yourself, oh gosh, he's done. Alright. Yeah, a lot of people regret when they do these tutorings if they do bad. And they don't realize that the more mistakes you make, that's good. Because the more mistakes you make, the more you can improve upon, and then the better you can get. If you like play a game, go 10-0, you probably make mistakes, but you're not gonna make as much. That means I can't help you as much. That was good. He's good to push. Now he wants to go rejoin his team. They're doing Baron, and he has Baron probably tanking. There's no real worry. That was good. He tried to force him on Baron. Lux does Baron slowly, because out of the 5 roles, which I talked about with this guy earlier, which I'm not going to explain here, the one that's the worst at clearing Baron, or in general big monster camps, are AoE burst, because not only burst, the definition of burst is generally longer cooldown abilities with greater damage. So you have a lot of damage in 1 second, but because of long cooldowns, your damage over a while is low. So that's why it's harder to take Baron, and in addition, the area of effect part of it makes them do less damage because they're bigger area, so it's even harder to clear Baron. Best ones at doing it are sustained damage, like Karthus, Rise. They're insane at clearing Baron. Assassins are terrible at it, but they're not great. It's similar principle, but at least it's single target. How is this so squishy? What does she have? I just look. Yeah, I don't like Spirit of the Spectre, right? I got it sometimes when I played Elise, but it's just like, it's not good, in my opinion. And she's dead here. No, that's good. So you want to eat. You know Riven's gonna be all things. You want to eat. Oh, I tell you. Yeah, suck up in that fight. She didn't get the red buff, which is actually huge. Whoever had that red during that fight. Where's Lux? Oh, there she is. That's good. You want to hold your E a lot. There's no real point to detonating it if he's not going to get someone. Oh, he killed Warwick. He got a kill, so there's not, I can't really tutor him. He can ult that, definitely. He wants to ult that. Yeah, ult that. I mean, it doesn't matter. Ult that, you can see the thing happening. You can see the time at procs. So he could have damaged her and dropped it taken. And you gotta remember when taking stuff, as in neutral general camps, the gold it gets is essentially doubled because not only are they not getting it, but you are getting it. So it's a bigger swing. It's all about difference between you and your opponent. It doesn't really matter how much gold you have. Oh yeah, and the reason I don't like denying the opponent as much is after laning phase is over, you want to be strong in comparison to the enemy team. If you do deny, you'll be very strong in comparison to your enemy lane, but you won't be strong in comparison to the enemy team, which is why, in general, it's better to push. I just love pushing. My CS records, they're not that important, but when I was playing Dragons, I got the 2 CS records that matter are how much you have by 20 minutes and how fast you get through. So I got 300 by it was either 23.5 minutes or it was 22. I'm not exactly sure. But, and then I got 200. And then that, now he's walking a little bit too much up. See, Lux is a really, I have no idea what just happened. Lux is a really, really long range caster. So being that up close and personal like he was doing is worthless. There's no point for him being that close to the action because he's just putting himself in unnecessary danger. Because his moves are all such long range anyway, he doesn't need to be necessary. So I'm pretty sure they FF here. I don't think they can actually fully win. I don't know what the numbers are. Because he said done. Yep, FF. So, yeah, this was a good game to tutor. I'm sure he learned a lot. So, yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed. Share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And, Tyr, I will see you in Diamond.